Yeah, get the hell out of here, jackass making dwarf videos. I'm not anything, for Christ's sake. All right. Well, hello, you bearded bastards, and welcome to a very different kind of video, an interview with uh, me and Blind IRL.
So this is a video that I've wanted to put together for a little bit now. I've been pestered by many people left and right ever since the first time I spoke with Tarn Adams on the stream and then put that VOD over on YouTube. And since I did that 2 more times after that, I had a couple people start, poking me and say, hey, when are you gonna talk to Kruggsmash? Or it would be really nice if you could talk to some Kruggsmash. Hey, Blind, could you talk to Kruggsmash? And eventually it kind of worked back around to, all right, so here's a video of me talking with Kruggsmash about Dwarf Fortress for about an hour. If that's what you're looking for, then you're in the right place. Thank you very much for joining us, and I hope that you will enjoy the following interview.
You know, it's interesting because, I don't play an awful lot of games that are like Dwarf Fortress at all. When I grew up, I would play platformers, Mario, Sonic, that sort of stuff. I had an Atari when I was little. I'd play, Frogger and Pac-Man. But yeah, growing up, I didn't have much interest in games like Dwarf Fortress. No intense interest, I guess. I would play, SimCity, the Sim games, all of them pretty much. I guess I was a big fan of the God game genre when that came about. There's Black and White, you know that one? Lionhead game?
Yeah, like Black and White and Populous.
That sort of stuff. They were always good. I really like those games, but they never gripped me like Dwarf Fortress does, of course. They always seemed very bare bones, But I like the idea of controlling a population, just like an ant farm, I guess.
So going kind of from the the God game genre, when did you first discover Dwarf Fortress, and how did that become something that you started playing?
Well, my brother actually suggested it. I don't know when the hell it was. I think I started playing Dwarf Fortress probably 2010 or 2011, which really, it's been 10 years. That's insane, actually. I just realized that. Yeah, he brought up this game where his story that he brought up, I don't think it can't happen in Dwarf Fortress, maybe in an older version, but his story he told me was he read online that a dwarven mother lost their baby and found it inside a beer keg or something like that. And I was like, boy, this game seems really in depth, right? So I went to go check it out and downloaded it, and I was like, this game is not up my alley at all. It's way too complex and stupid. I hate it. I put it down for a long, long time, and then I forgot about it. And I think at some point he's like, "Hey, did you ever try that game?" And I was like, "Oh no, I guess I'll give it another try." And picked it up. And this time I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna give it a go." Gave up again. I don't know. I think I gave up 3 or 4 times. And then finally, I was able to dig out a tunnel, and that's what got me started. I was affecting the world, and that was just very interesting to me.
The first time you successfully build a door that you're like, yes, I've got it.
Yeah, just being able to command some happening, some sort of event in the world. Does a lot. Yeah, drags you in.
I'm kind of curious because you said that you bounced off it a couple of times. What kept you coming back?
I think it was the community more than anything. After I found out about the game and just saw the stories that were out there and stuff, and I would give up, but then I'd see people talking so excitedly about all this crazy crap that would happen in their games. And, it's just I hate that game, but I want to do that. So you just put it down, pick it up, put it down, pick it up. And I just, it's just really, that's what drove me more than anything. Just seeing these crazy stories. And I guess that's what did it.
Because for me, I think it was every single time I'd stop thinking about Dwarf Fortress, a story would pop up in the news, and I'd be because I kind of had a very similar curve where it was I downloaded it, played it for a bit, forgot it existed, downloaded it again, played it for a bit, forgot it existed, kind of on repeat. And it was after 6 months, a story would appear in the news about it, or someone would publish a story that would go viral, or a screenshot would pop up on 4chan and it would go viral, or something would happen. But something that I even up until the end, when I finally sat down and learned the damn game, I found the learning curve to be a bit not existent. Like there was obviously the initial like, okay, how do I control this? But once I got past that, the difficulty curve just kind of went away. So I'm just curious, like, do you think that the difficulty curve is a real thing, or is it more just like a bunch of memes?
It's really not that bad. Of course, I could see both sides of the coin, I guess. I'm so far removed now. As I said, it's been 10 years, so like I remember it being difficult, but like if I had just really buckled down that first time, I could have probably learned to play in a few days if I wanted to, you know. I mean I say this 10 years later, I'm still learning shit. So, I mean, you the first time you pick up the game, you're technically playing, right? So, I don't know.
I think after a while, the still learning shit comment is like part of the appeal. Like
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
eventually that becomes part of the allure is like, oh, I'm still learning things.
That's the truth. Yeah, I'm still learning stuff. Learning like new button commands. Somebody I mean, it's only partially related, but somebody said in one of my YouTube comments like this button command where you can slow down the game action. Did you ever see that?
What?
Like it's like yeah, if you hold down Alt and like plus and minus, you can slow down or speed up the frame rate. It screws up the game if you do it too much, but it's great for recording stuff, which is very good for me.
Yeah. Oh, whoa. All right. Yeah, I think I just learned something. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
right. See, exactly. Somebody said that in the comments. It was
Because
like this one little comment, and I was like, "You got to be shitting me, right?" And I went and tried it. Sure enough, and you can like when you first start a fortress, you can like blast up that speed, and they just become little blurs.
so now, kind of from like a little bit of a different direction. Like, when did you learn to draw?
Um, I mean, I guess it's kind of like Dwarf Fortress. Like I'm still learning to draw, I guess, but like I would doodle and stuff when I was little. I really liked to draw when I was little. But I mean, everybody says that. Everyone liked drawing when they were little, I think, right? Like just drawing little pictures.
Then we all realize we're
Um,
bad at it.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that stage kind of hit like around middle school, high
Yeah.
school, and I didn't really draw so much. I went to college. I took some art classes in college, but even then, I didn't like it. You know, it's super hard to get motivated to draw stuff. Then you do it and you start, and it's like I'm bored. I don't like the way it looks. Um, so yeah, I didn't really draw all that much except for the odd doodle up until I started making these videos here.
Well, hello, you bearded bastards, and welcome back once again to Kruggsmash, Honeystoker, located at the foot of the Eastern Mountains.
Well, I started drawing probably towards the end of or the beginning of 2017 for the videos, and that's when I decided like I want to really take a stab at this thing, and if I'm gonna do that, I've got to use all my talents. So that's when I decided I'm gonna start drawing, and I just started learning from there pretty much. Um, because I would always used to draw like a single character just floating in the background.
Mhm.
When I first started doing it for these videos here, I realized like not every picture I draw can just be one character standing just in a white background. So um, it was like a real challenge to have to draw new things. Like I'd see a badger and have to learn how to draw a badger, or like a leopard seal man and have to learn how to draw that, and you know how his clothing goes on him. How's he wearing pants? He's wearing pants in the game, but I got to figure out how he's wearing it. You know, in this picture here.
It's always the forgotten beasts that really impress me in your videos. It's like just this, like I read those descriptions and I'm just like, nah. Like I think I don't know what that looks like, and then your drawings are just like, whoa, okay, wow, huh.
Yeah, well, see, that's something actually I just learned recently about my drawings because I think a lot of people get the idea that an artist like has like a perfect idea of what something they're drawing is in their head, you know.
Mhm.
But I absolutely do not have that. I do not know what something is going to be until I'm done drawing it. Um, which I know is super weird to say, but like say you gotta draw like I don't know what like for my last video I had like a mud monster or something like that. And I'm like, okay, so what? It's got a head, draw a circle for the head, draw a body, which is just another circle, and then you just start like filling in details. You know, maybe it's got like a nose or some eyes or you know, and it just like comes alive piece by piece from stuff that I've learned in the past. And you know, I can erase stuff because I use pencil at first. Um, and I just kind of toy around with it like that, you know, just bit by bit, and I work on it as it goes, and it kind of just like grows out of that process. And then when it's done, you know, I get to be like, I like this, or maybe I won't like it, and I think that's really interesting. That's really an interesting part of the process for me, the whole video making process. Just like I don't know what things are going to be like until I'm done drawing them, so I get a kick out of it too.
How often do you have drawings that you don't use that just like you
I
spent a bunch of time
I
drawing
don't
and you just decided you didn't like something?
I force every single one into being because I don't have the time to waste.
That's
Like
wow.
I never ever throw out a drawing. If something's not working, I will erase a detail or like fill it in with a shadow. I will make that drawing work no matter what. Every single time.
Damn.
And yeah, it's interesting to try to figure out how to cover certain things up or like bend certain things and stuff, but yeah. I mean, it's not the cleanest style either, so that really works in my favor. Like it's like the lines aren't, you know, exact. Everything's kind of wavy. Characters are often off model,
Mhm.
but I just kind of go with it.
I love the kind of recognizable style that you've managed to develop with your art, and it's like it stands out immediately. It doesn't matter like what the context is. It's like I know that that was drawn by you, and it's really cool.
It's weird because like I'm also like it's gonna sound shitty, but I'm like I'm in awe of my style as well, which sounds shitty again, but like I don't know where the hell it came from. It just like I don't know. I guess it's just how I draw. It's nothing purposeful. I wasn't like I want to draw things this way. I guess it's just the way I draw things. I don't know. It's weird. Like I have in my mind like picturing an artist like trying to come up with their own style or something, but that's definitely not what happened. It just falls out of me, I guess.
It reminds me a lot of like daily cartoons in the newspaper.
Yeah,
Kind of
something like that.
like not necessarily a similar style to that, but it's kind of a like that's just how the person draws, and they draw that way efficiently. So that's what their cartoons look like. But so where did the idea to start making videos of all of this stuff come from? Like why did you take to YouTube in the first place?
Okay. It was pretty much like everyone else does it. Like, you know, I was gonna it's probably like early mid 2000s, not 2000s, you know, 2010s and stuff. Watching Markiplier, you know, play stupid games and yell at his screen and he have millions of views and it's like I could do that, you know, everyone thinks that.
Yeah.
So you know, I have actually I've got a whole bunch of videos on my channel that are privated right now. I really took a stab at that, but they are just terrible videos. Like, I don't think people realize the kind of charisma you have to have in order to do that sort of content. And if you don't have it or you can't like emulate it at least, then you know you just can't. You know,
Yeah.
you have to. I mean, practice it. I guess you could definitely learn it, but like I don't know. Anyways, rambling. I'm not capable of that. I learned this. It's frustrating, but it's a good lesson to learn. So like you know, I liked Dwarf Fortress at this point. Never really seriously thought about making videos about it. Um Although I saw other people doing that. I'm trying to think like I did make a series called it was called Beast Battle
Mhm.
and it was completely unedited. I would make these little like animated like intro things. They weren't like an animation. It was kind of like a slideshow sort of thing and that was fun. But the gameplay was basically just me talking over Dwarf Fortress, and so I don't know. I'm not very good at talking, I guess. You know, lots of ahs and ums and that sort of crap. So at some point, I decided, I put that down. That was it. The only person that ever watched it was my friend Dwarf Comic, who I'm still friends with actually, and I started talking to him after that for a while, and he kept bugging me to make a new series, bugging me. And I just kept being like, no, never mind, I don't want to do it. And it was in 2016. I was finally like, fine, I'll make another one just on a whim someday. I was on a lunch break from work, I think, and I was like, yeah, I'll have a stab at it. And I did it, and yeah, it was that Evil King's Fortress. I think that's one of the earliest videos on my channel right now that turned into Steel Clutches.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, just kind of went from there, I guess.
Everything just kind of snowballed, and one thing led to another, and
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it. Like I hated my job at that point, and so like that I had killed my dream of ever doing any sort of like Markiplier-esque sort of a like a YouTube content. But I really hated my job, and this thing started like taking off. So that naive hope started like digging its way out of the grave in my brain, and I'm like, no, no, go away! I can't do this. It's not who I am, man. Um, but I guess at some point, shit started going downhill in my job, and I was like, I gotta force this thing into being.
I,
So I saw my YouTube kind of going up, and the job was going down. And I was like, all right, let's do this shit.
so when you started making videos, because you kind of mentioned that, did you ever think it would take off like it did? Did you ever think that it would end up where it is now?
Again, I had that little like that weird zombie hope in my brain that kind of dragged itself out. So I did have like a naive hope the entire time that it would turn into something, but I didn't know what. You know, I guess that's pretty much it. Like, I don't want to say I knew it would turn into something big, but I kind of felt like it would. I guess remaining positive that it might would really help propel you forward, right? I didn't really have an option at that point. It was literally my only hope at that other job that I had. Like it was the only thing because I worked at a dog kennel,
Mhm.
and that's it. I didn't go to college or anything like that. I went to college for like one semester, took those art classes there, and didn't work out for me. And I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna work in a dog kennel till I die. But that didn't really work out so well. So this was just like the one hope in my life that I could do anything else was YouTube. So
Yeah, I mean, I worked at McDonald's, so 8.5 years there.
yeah, yeah. It's funny the things desperation does to you, huh?
Like outside of, I guess, the initial Markiplier attempt, which now I really want to see you make like a Markiplier style video over Five Nights at Freddy's on April Fool's Day. But anyway, that aside, outside of like the Markiplier attempt, did you have any like heavy influences when you started creating?
No, other than like it's freaking gross for me to say it now, but other than Markiplier, no. But now I look at Markiplier stuff and I'm like, oh God.
I mean, different audience.
I mean, if you like Markiplier, that's totally fine. You can like whatever the hell you like. For me, ugh, I it's just not up my alley. All right, I might get hate for that.
Eh,
So be it. It's my opinion.
it's the Cartoon Network of YouTube. That's what
Mhm.
it is.
Yeah, I used to like him. When it came down to when I first started like seeing that the channel was growing and that sort of stuff, and I was actually having an influence on people. I used to swear a lot in my videos and stuff. You've seen the earlier shit, I'm dropping F-bombs left and right. And then at some point somebody sent a video to me of their kid watching one of my videos, and the kid was like 5 or something like that. And they're like, "Oh, here's my kid watching some Kruggsmash videos. He wants to see the goblins or something." And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm swearing in front of a child." And I was like, I don't know, like I kept swearing for a little bit after that, but like every time I did, I was like, that kid could be watching right now. It just I don't know, it bugged me or something. So I tried to tone that down a bit, and then I really tried to think about the effect I'm having on people and stuff. And like I always liked content like ever see like James Townsend and Sons on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. That sort of stuff. Like just he's such a friendly guy,
Mhm.
and he's very enthusiastic about what he does. And just seeing that in a way, it makes me feel like when I'm watching his videos, like I kind of want to do that somewhat, anyways. But I also don't want to like scrub away all my personality. So
Yeah.
um, it's a balance. A lot of people will think like that sort of stuff is lying to your audience or something like that, but I don't really think so.
I think that, I mean, this is just my opinion here, but I think that a little bit of like language control as anybody on who's creating anything is kind of important. You kind of have to figure out exactly what your audience is and
Yeah.
work with that.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
out of all of the series that you've created, do you have any favorites?
No, no, I don't. I care intensely about every series that I'm making, um, while I'm making it. But as soon as it's done, as soon as an episode's done, for that matter, I'm like, ugh, get the hell out of here, over it. Which might sound like, which might sound shitty or something like that. But like, I don't know. I don't like them. I guess after I'm done with them, which I don't know how that sounds. But like, Monster Killer or like Honeystoke or whatever, when they're done, I'm just like, I'm happy that it happened, and I'm happy that people enjoy them. But I don't know. I just don't look back all that much. I guess I just
I've watched Monster Killer like 4 or 5 times now.
well, it's good to hear. Yeah, it's actually crazy because like a lot of people really liked Monster Killer, and that was the last series that I made like right before I stopped working at that job. And as soon as I got out of there is when the stress system was re-implemented in Dwarf Fortress, and so it changed the nature of my videos entirely. And so, all this time I've been hearing stuff like, "Oh, I love Monster Killer." The other ones are different. I don't like them so much. A lot of people like the other ones. I'm not saying everyone hates everything I do at all, but I hear these comments often enough where I don't even know. I'm just rambling at this point. But, like,
Rambling is
um,
what this video is about.
well, good, absolutely. But like, it's weird because like the stress system is kind of back where it was now at Monster Killer times, and so it's changing the nature of the game again for me and like video making and stuff, which it feels pretty good actually. Just get to be careless and stupid in my videos again, and I like that. I like the freedom that it affords me, I guess.
I mean, also the
But
game evolving just amps up the creativity as well.
that's the truth. Yeah, certainly. Even mods. Like I never used to play mods, but right now I'm doing that Red Vault series using Squamos's Long Night mod, and like I used to be like totally against mods at all, but this thing is so excellent and just a complete overhaul, and I love it. It's great.
I need to actually play the Long Night mod. I've played the Star Wars mod and the Rise of the Mushroom Kingdom mod, but
Yeah, you should definitely take a look at some of Squamos's stuff. Like it's insane the amount of detail in these things. It's
yeah.
it's insane. I freaking love it. The guy really cares, big time.
What keeps you playing Dwarf Fortress?
That's a good question. I've thought about that recently because like I had after I started the long night there, I had a lot of requests to play like Cataclysm, which I did play Cataclysm on my channel one time, um, like and it was a few years ago now.
Mhm.
And even when I did right then, like I had it in my mind that it's like Dwarf Fortress, right? Like it's the same thing, but it's really not. And I think a big part of that is just like the random generation of stuff in the game for the most part. Um like in Dwarf Fortress you have randomly generated like forgotten beasts and all kinds of crazy monsters and items and events and the history. That's like the big thing there. Like Cataclysm doesn't have legends mode, is just having the history and all the stuff in there, all the people who have done things in the world that you're playing in that you never even see or experience. Like you just having that the knowledge that it's all out there for you to discover adds so much to the game for me.
Mhm.
Um yeah, I feel like that's a big part of it. Other than that, though, I mean, like, I don't know. I really do enjoy it. Like, I don't just play it because it's my job. I do enjoy it. Every single time I start up a new fortress, no matter what I'm doing, like, it's exciting. It's weird. It's a really unique experience playing Dwarf Fortress.
Yeah, because kind of the second half of that question is just like, what are some of your favorite aspects of the game? So I basically just from your answer, I'm kind of just getting that it's like there's multiple ways to interact with it, and the game gives you so much context for your actions that there's just reason to keep playing, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, and like just like the whole like player made goals and stuff.
Mhm.
I like. I don't think enough people play Dwarf Fortress like they're playing a role playing like a tabletop role playing game like Dungeons and Dragons or something.
Mhm.
There's this weird disconnect I feel with people in Dwarf Fortress. I just like I feel like a lot of people should be looking at the game more like a tabletop role playing game than like a traditional management game. Of course, that being said, I believe that with Dwarf Fortress, there's there's infinite ways to actually play and enjoy the game. Obviously, some
Mhm.
people make like little dwarf computers and stuff, or like yeah, what's the guy's name? Cupo on Twitch
It
there.
just makes art.
Yeah, he makes
Just
art.
massive, like flashing, pulsating album artworks for stoner metal bands.
Right, exactly. He does that sort of stuff, and like some people play the game to be like they play like Factorio, where they're trying to like make it really efficient and that
Mhm.
sort of stuff. Or like some people just play it horribly inefficient and just like enjoy the stories and stuff that are in the game. And I think just all that, knowing that there's so many different ways you can play the game, um, that really adds a lot as well, which I
Yeah,
think is really cool.
it's funny that you brought up CDDA a little bit because the reasons that you're describing for liking Dwarf Fortress are almost identical to the reasons why I like them, um, and it's like the I describe Dwarf Fortress to people as it's like playing D&D by yourself. It's like playing D&D
Yeah,
without other people. So you don't need
exactly,
to coordinate with a
exactly.
group. I mean, sometimes
Yeah,
coordinating with a group can be nice and it's fun to have social activity, but like
yeah, sure.
it's it's great to just be able to have basically the game almost DM for you in a way, and you can just kind of
Yeah.
interact with that as much as you want, or just kind of
Mhm.
let it fall apart and fall into shambles and just watch it happen and just see until things explode.
Absolutely. That's always what I wanted too. Like as I said, growing up playing like Black and White or like other God games, none are coming to mind exactly. Like I'm trying to
Black
think
and
of
White
any
and
other God game.
Populous are the
Yeah,
two that come to mind.
I never even played that. I'm just getting Black and White. But like, you want something to happen in the game, and Dwarf Fortress gives you that. Uh yeah, just it throws stuff at you and you got to deal with it as they come. And I just love that. It's just like a tabletop role playing game for me.
So if you could like mind control Tarn Adams and make him change one thing in Dwarf Fortress, or like remove a feature or add a feature, what would it be and why?
See, that's a very hard question. That's a very okay. Actually, I got something. Prepared for this one because so many people ask me this question, and I'm always just like, I have no idea. I don't care. But the one thing I think that I would really, really, really love in the game is the ability to control anybody in adventure mode, like any of your dwarves in your fortress. I just want to take one of them and be able to take control of them and like jump into adventure mode, like right at that point. During
Oh, like
fortress mode.
Dungeon Keeper.
Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't that be
First person
great?
to
Just
run around.
like, you're getting attacked by goblins and just to jump into your like militia commander and like go up on the fortifications and just start shooting as they're coming in. How cool would that be?
That would be neat. I feel it would completely change the way the game is played, but it would be neat.
Yeah, I feel like you could really cheese that. You could cheese that terribly.
Don't like a dwarf? Mind control them off a cliff.
Yeah, exactly. That sort of stuff. I don't know. I think it'd be really cool, but I guess when it comes down to it, he can do whatever the shit he wants. I don't care. I see so many conversations out there about like he should do this and he's got to do this, and I don't know why he did this, and I'm just like freaking leave the guy alone. And let him do what he wants.
I love all the comments which are just like Tard should do, or Tony should do this, or he should do that, or he should do this, or he should do that. And then like somebody else who's just like, and you wonder why he's not like reading every post on the forums.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, oh man. Like it's a good community, but like um, that shit's got to get annoying. Really
Oh yeah.
goddamn annoying.
Oh yeah. I mean, like anybody who's had any kind of fame or notoriety will know that it's like it doesn't matter how nice people are. It's like all you need is one person to just be annoying, and then everybody
Yeah.
seems annoying.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah.
get that. Mm-hmm.
It's the one that
Yep.
sticks. So no, I completely understand. I like that question because it's kind of it's kind of a fun thought process because it makes you or it helps me think about how you look at the game. Like from my point of view, it's like if I could change one thing about Dwarf Fortress is I'd put structural integrity back in. which every time I say that, half of the world screams at me because they're like, all my forts would fall down. And what about my abstract buildings? I'm like, well, just give us a switch to turn off structural integrity because I want to put up supports in my walls and everything. You know?
Yeah,
I do that
I hear
anyway.
that. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Like
At least to try, yeah. If there was a switch for that, then it would be excellent, right? No problem at all. God, that would add so much to the game. Wouldn't that be great?
Close the game, turn on structural integrity, turn the game back on, watch your fort cave in, cry internally.
Jenga tower, that's great.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, you
Yeah,
could
that'd be
literally build a giant Jenga tower. Damn.
Yeah.
Watch the frame rate go down.
Just crash. That'd be excellent. One day we can wait. We just got to get Toady that like brain mech that he could just be put in.
Yeah,
One day.
One day. So it's kind of bouncing off of that last question, but like out of all of, there's a big roadmap plan for Dwarf Fortress with all kinds of lofty, exciting things way off in the future. Is there any particular update that Tarn's talked about that you're excited for or looking forward to?
No, not really. Like, everyone says Magic. Oh, I can't wait for Magic, but like just knowing how far it's off, I don't get excited for any of the upcoming features just because like it would be damaging to my mental state, I think. Just having to to wait that long, I guess. Like, because I mean, realistically, like the Magic system. In your opinion, how long do you think that's gonna take? I'm gonna say 5 years.
2028.
Okay, yeah, something like that, right? Exactly.
Something like that. Especially the Steam version as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like I don't even get excited about that sort of stuff. Anything that's in the future, I'll just take it as it comes. I enjoy the game well enough as it comes. If I get bored of vanilla, I could throw some mods in there. It's fine, just like if I was sitting here like magic system, I would just drive myself like insane,
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, it's kind of like all of the people that are excited for the Steam version right now. So I have this obligatory expected question of, like, I guess first off is, are you interested at all in the Steam version?
Yeah, like, I don't know. At first I was like, oh, cool, but like as time's gone on, I'm like it looked really neat at first. It still looks really neat. I can appreciate the pixel art. I can appreciate what they're doing, the UI and all that sort of stuff. But like, I don't. It's not gonna make me enjoy the game anymore. Like it's not gonna add anything for me personally. I could be happy that the game is going to possibly do better. I'm sure it's gonna do better. But like, and maybe it's gonna help people get into the game and stuff. But for me personally, it's not doing anything. I don't think like as to my enjoyment for the game. That's pretty much it, I guess. In fact, I'm gonna maybe take a spicy take and say I do not like the way like the graphics look like moving around and stuff. Like I can appreciate the pixel art for pixel art's sake, but like recently there was like footage of like little characters and stuff moving around, and it just reminded me too much of one of the graphical tile sets that are out there now. And I don't dig them. I'm not playing when I'm really zoomed in, so you can't even see what anything is. They're all too small. Like if there's a cat running around, it just looks like a little like maybe orange blob, and it's like, what the hell is that? Raccoon? Was it a possum or something like that? Zips by the screen. There's so many things it could be. If you just see like a lowercase c, it's got to be a cat, right? Like
I love having that argument with people.
Yeah,
it's so much easier to immediately decipher a lowercase red c than a kitten sprite from a puppy sprite.
Easier.
We spoke about the community briefly earlier, and you mentioned that you really like the community. Do you think that I guess technically it's not just Steam, it's Steam and itch.io, but do you think that the graphical versions are going to affect the Dwarf Fortress community as a whole, or do you think it's going to be about the same people?
A lot of speculation in this question right here, I guess, right? I don't know. Like, I go back and forth with the whole Steam version and what it's going to do for Dwarf Fortress. Like, it's going to get its name out there an awful lot, but I just hear so many people putting their hopes and dreams into the Steam version and making it finally be able to be playable, and I don't know about that, honestly. Like, it'll make the icons easier to see, but as far as the gameplay goes, I don't know how much is being done really with all the like like how stuff works. Like the military itself, like it's incredibly finicky when you're actually playing Dwarf Fortress. Like it's not like Warcraft, like where you just select your units and send them somewhere and they go there. They got to go grab drinks, and like one guy will go back to his bedroom and sleep or something, and like you'll have three guys make it to the place, and like one guy will get there, then go home to sleep, and one guy will see a Crundle on his way up there and go off fighting off in the caves or something. It's very frustrating.
Or see a
And
Grundle
like,
and run away screaming.
right, exactly. There's just, I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling again, but like, um, uh, I don't know. Like, I think a lot of people think it's going to be like a well-made game. That's I love Dwarf Fortress. I love Tarn. They're both freaking great. But it's got a lot of quirks. That's why I like it.
Mhm.
And I don't foresee those going away anytime in the future.
Well,
And I just don't know what people are going to think of that.
I don't know.
Right?
I think it's gonna be really interesting. Like I think our perspectives on this, I think, are a little bit unique because
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we're more plugged into the core community
Mm.
than most people. Outside of people who like spend all of their times on the forums, like people that are just kind of like passively paying attention to Dwarf Fortress. Maybe they play other games or they play similar games. Like I think that this is kind of my take on this question because it's kind of a hard question, so I might as well chuck in my 2 cents as well. But
Yeah,
it's like
please.
the way I kind of see it going is it's going to go one of two ways. And I think it's going to depend heavily on a very specific metric, the Steam reviews.
Mhm.
And the reason for that is look at Crusader Kings 2. It's a game with 100,000 very positive reviews. Look at Europa Universalis, very similar situation. Look at Crusader Kings 3, very similar situation. Those are obtuse, complicated games with 3-hour tutorials, if they have a tutorial. And they have very positive reviews. So if people see something like Dwarf Fortress pop up and it has very positive reviews, they're more inclined to stick around once you have the sunk cost fallacy of purchasing something and also they see those reviews, right?
Mhm.
So I think it's going to depend heavily on that, which is like just the way games works these days, that it is the most bullshit, like no one has any control over it thing, period. And especially in a world where review bombing exists, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's very much going to depend on that, I think. And it's exciting, but it's also kind of terrifying. And
Exactly.
and the thing that worries me the most is, at least in the times that I've spoken with Tarn over the past year, he sounds bored. Like, as he puts it, it's like, aligning a scroll bar on a menu is nowhere near as fun as, designing magic systems. Like he sounds very rehearsed when I'm talking to him and he's talking about the Steam version, and he sounds all excited when he's talking about Myths and Magic. And I kind of just want it to be done, and not necessarily because like, my whole YouTube channel is built on talking about the graphics, right? But like,
Mhm.
at the same time, it's like, I want it to be done so that Tarn can go back to working on other stuff
Yeah.
that he's
Yeah,
excited to be
definitely.
working on.
Man, the thing's been in the works now for what? 2+
It
years,
was
right?
announced 2 years ago, but he started work on it 9 months after the initial announcement. But the tile set's been done for most of that.
Man, oh man.
And
Yeah, that poor guy. I couldn't imagine. Like, I imagine it's like a similar situation where like people have asked me to do tutorial before, but I'm always like, it's boring, But it's still, at the end of the day, it would take me a week to push out a tutorial video. This guy's been working on it for that long now. It's just some boring stuff that is going to help him out in the long run, but like it's boring. I couldn't imagine. Yeah, that sucks. That really sucks.
I mean, isn't your most viewed video a tutorial?
It is, and I
Yeah.
hated making it. It
Yeah.
sucks.
I recommend people watch that thing like every day still.
Oh, good. Thank you. I don't even like it. I've considered making a new one, but I've been waiting for the Steam release to come out. But it's full circle.
Same. I don't know.
Yeah,
I also hate making tutorials. I'm not that much of a psychopath.
it's so boring. It's so boring. It's terrible.
Can't stand
But
it.
mhm.
But so I guess kind of on the YouTube subject again, I'm more or less out of questions here, but it's like, do you see yourself making videos about Dwarf Fortress for a while? Like, do you think your work's going to change much over the next few years, or do you think you're just going to kind of keep doing what you're doing?
Guess just keep doing what I'm doing. Like, boy, I mean that kind of cracks open the gates of hell a little bit there, because like I've been making the same exact sort of content now, since I started making videos.
Mhm.
I've been on like I think I started at the beginning I was doing like a half-hour content, and then at some points I get up to 35 minutes, and then at the end of this last series I did, the whole Scorch Fountain year plus arc I did, I was super burned out and pretty much insane. So I was like, I gotta stop working like this or I'm gonna die pretty soon. So I've really toned down my work schedule and I've started making different kinds of content, like, I shouldn't say different kinds of content. I've been making Dwarf Fortress videos still, but just changing up what I do a little bit and thinking about other things that I can do. So I think I definitely plan on continuing to make Dwarf Fortress content because, well, I mean, when you get down to it, I don't really have any other skills besides picking up dog shit in a dog kennel. I do intend on making Dwarf Fortress content until the foreseeable future, until I actually do go insane, which is bound to happen at some point. Dwarf and all.
Thank you for taking the time, like the 45 minutes out of your day to, show up and chat with me and talk a little bit about Dwarf Fortress and your time drawing and whatnot. And, as you mentioned earlier, like Dwarf Fortress has a fantastic and wholesome and awesome community. And there's not a lot of games out there like that. And I think, I first installed Dwarf Fortress in 2009. And I went through a very similar cycle of like, download it, generate a world, get frustrated, Alt F4, that wouldn't work, open command thing, force delete it, do all that, and then like every 6 months for a very long period of time. And I didn't really get heavily into Dwarf Fortress until I stumbled on your stuff. So it's like,
go figure. I guess I didn't really know that.
like I'd been playing No Moria, I played Odd Realm, I guess Odd Realm was after, but I played No Moria, I played Towns, I played name a game that's sort of like Dwarf Fortress, I probably played it. I put an absurd amount of time into RimWorld. Like I'd been playing Dwarf Fortress on and off for years, I guess, like playing. I mean, by Tarn's definition of playing, like, I read Boat Murdered when that was new. Like I know all of those stories and I kept coming back to stuff, but I didn't get heavily into the game until about end of 2017 was when I kind of started. I actually found your stuff through a comment on a Quill 18 video, oddly enough. So I was like, you should watch Kruggsmash.
Go figure.
Just copy, paste. Channel with 2,000 subscribers. Okay. But
2,000 subscribers. Wow.
Yeah, back in the day. But
yeah.
So I guess like it's kind of your fault that my channel's here in the current state that it is. So thank you for that.
Well, it's no problem. No problem. I was hoping that's a good thing. It's your fault.
I mean,
no.
I'm better off than I was before, so there's that.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Certainly, definitely. I'm glad to have been of some help in some crazy way. Yeah, it's no problem. I'm really glad to be on here. Actually, I'm flattered to feel interesting enough to have questions asked. I don't know. Like, what do you normally say? I feel like I gotta thank someone now. I gotta thank Mrs. K for all of her coloring work. She colors my pictures like she colors my life. I guess that's a pretty big deal right there. That, and I gotta thank all my friends, right? Dwarf Comic for helping me get into the videos, and everyone else for helping me continue along with it. Malascara and Amanda and my brother Joe, and his fiance, and all the bearded bastards on Patreon, without whom none of this would be possible. And you, actually, thank you very much, Blind, for having me on here yet again.
Well, thanks for taking the time out of your day. And to anybody watching this video, thank you for tuning in and watching. And like as this man said, go throw dollars at him on Patreon, and links will be in the description to all of the the places where you can find the Krugs if you don't already. I mean, frankly, if you're watching me and you haven't seen Kruggsmash, there's something wrong, so fix that. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.